at the GROSSMONT 28. So a 3rd and 13 for Mount SAC. They have it at the 28-yard line. Already up 17-0. Coach Jabs and his offense, they're looking for more. 4 wide set here for the Mounties, 3 aligned to the near side of the field. The only man to the far side of the field, that's the big 6'6" Chris Gilchrist. Is Allo going to step up and run? Gets
as he went down, did a 5-step drop there and just kind of tucked the ball away. Got some nice yardage as he kind of dissected that defense. A lot of guys swarming to him. They figured out that he was going to end up running on that play, and he just used his wheels and got some nice pickup there.
1st and 10 now for the Mounties at the GROSSMONT 12. Handoff Tolbert. Tolbert originally taken down in the backfield, breaking tackles, still on his feet, and now he's finally dragged down at the 13 for a loss of 1. That's probably the most impressive 1-yard loss run you're ever going to see.
Tolbert is a hard runner, a very strong downhill runner, if you will. I told you he reminds me of Eddie Lacy, too. So
it's the dreads.
It's the dreads, and it's the style of running from Omaris Tolbert that is very impressive. Game in and game out here for the Mounties.
Tolbert out of the game now. It's Aaron Vons in the backfield with Justin Allo. 4 receivers set for the Mounties. 2nd and 11. The ball at the GROSSMONT 13, 17-0. The Mounties lead. Allo pressure. Dumps off the screen pass for Vons, but it's incomplete. A little bit of miscommunication there between quarterback and running back. Vons out of the backfield was unable to come up with it, and it'll bring up a 3rd and long for Mount SAC.
I'll tell you what, if Vons was on the same page with Allo, that's another Mountie touchdown. For sure. He had a wall of maroon ahead of him to protect him and trot into the end zone pretty much.
Give the Griffins credit there. They brought the house, and Justin Allo felt it.
Yeah, he never got his feet set. He was still backpedaling when he dumped that ball off, too.
3rd. Snap is back. Allo fumbled it, and I believe the Griffins fell on top of it, and sure enough, they did. Some miscommunication there between Allo and his center, and the Mounties turn over the football. GROSSMONT, a team who, like we talked about, forced up to 8 turnovers in the game earlier this season against the RCC Tigers. They get their first of the night, and that's a big one for them as they force a turnover in the red zone.
That was Itagia Pomole, the 6', 240 linebacker, another freshman for the team out of San Diego, California. He pounced on that ball right when he saw that Allo misplayed it.
I'll tell you what, it might not be that difficult to move the ball against this GROSSMONT defense, but the second they see an opportunity for a turnover, they'll take advantage of it. The Griffins start at their own 17. The snap is back to the quarterback, Carrillo, but not before a flag flies in, and this will be a false start against the Griffins. The 3rd time tonight a false start has been called against that offensive line. Mistake, something you'd expect out of a team made up of mostly freshmen.
Yeah, whether you're freshman or sophomore on the team, the penalties like false starts and offsides are penalties that you want to just try to completely avoid. Unfortunately for GROSSMONT, that's going to back them up right now. 1st
and 15. Ball now at the Griffin 12. Back to pass Carrillo, pressured out of the backfield. He dumps it off for his running back. That's Paris Miller on the reception. He gets across the 15 to the 16 for a pickup of 3. $7:50 left to go in the second quarter. 17-0. The Mounties lead over GROSSMONT College. GROSSMONT about 2 hours south of here, right near El Cajon in San Diego County. Mounties trying to make sure that the Griffins have a long ride back home. 17-0 they lead. Screen pass out of the backfield. Coming up with it for GROSSMONT. That's number 81, Leroy Henley. And Henley pushed out of bounds after a pickup of 2. Going to bring up 3rd and 10 for GROSSMONT.
That was Chris Waldenberger, your linebacker, 6'3", 205 out of West Covina and Roland High School. The second-year player here for Coach Jabs. Nice way to wrap him up around the waist and toss him to the ground there on that last tackle.
Waldenberger, he's been huge for Mount Sac defensively this year. A couple of sacks against Jalen Brady and the Ventura Pirates. And, of course, he had a pick 6 in the Mounties' last home game against the Chaffee Panthers. 3rd and 10 here. Mount Sac, after turning it over uncharacteristically for the first time tonight, trying to force Grossmont's offense on a 3-and-out. 3 wide set, under center. Back to pass Carrillo.
Now trying to take it into his own hands to make sure they get this first down. And from our vantage point, he is short by about a yard.
It looks like the Griffins will elect to go for it here on a 4th and inches situation. The ball's at their own 27.
It is Tommy Pistone, a 6'4" freshman.
You're obviously not expected to win if you're Grossmont, but if you are, you're going to have to roll the dice and hope that it rolls your way.
Well, the ball's at the 26-yard line, so this is a pretty big call by the coaching staff at Grossmont. Of course, head coach Mike Jordan in his 9th season, 23rd year on staff. So everyone knows Coach Jordan over there at Grossmont College, and they're trying to take a shot here at the Mountie defense on 4th and 1, ball in their own. If they don't convert, you are giving up some prime field location for the Mounties if they don't convert on this 4th down.
Well, the Grossmont coaching staff and Mike Jordan, they thought better of it. They're not going to go for a 4th down in their own territory. They're going to punt it away and try to keep this thing at 17-0 and perhaps give their offense a shot next time down the field. Back to receive is Solomon, and he'll call for a fair catch and make it at the 36-yard line. So that's where Allo and the offense will take over. Up 17-0. It almost seems like the Mounties, not that they come out effortless. Obviously, they're up 17-0. They looked very good on their first 2 offensive drives. The touchdown run from Tolbert, the touchdown run from Aaron Bonds, but you know, the intensity, maybe it's the fact that we don't have much of a crowd here tonight, but the intensity certainly it doesn't seem there like it usually is.
Well, I was talking to some of their staff members earlier before this game, and they want to make sure, although it doesn't seem like it right now, they want to make sure that they finish this game off strong and they finish this game off right with a Mountie win, as Tolbert was on that last carry for the Mounties. But they want to do well against this Grossmont team, as, you know, such an emotional roller coaster last week in Long Beach. Want them to stay on track here for the rest of their season.
Morris Tolbert, the opening give here on 1st down for the Mounties, a pickup of 3. They have it at their own 40. 2nd and 7. 3 wide set for Allo. Play action. Allo going to keep himself out to the near side of the field, and Allo is taken down in the backfield, leading the charge that time for the Griffins, and coming up with a big stop, a tackle for loss for Grossmont that time. It was number 56, Luis Navarro, the 6'3" freshman.
Sorry, Chris. Their leading tackler for the Griffins also. So another freshman who's a key component on the defensive side for Grossmont.
Another freshman. I wonder if, I'm sure the Griffins have more freshmen than Mount Sac is 5'8" players. But it seems like the ones that contribute, probably the same amount. On a 3rd and 9, Allo going to take a shot deep downfield, but it's incomplete, intended for Antoine Anderson. He wanted a flag. He got tripped up, but he tripped over his own feet. Incomplete. And how about the Grossmont defense? They force a 3-and-out.
Yeah, impressive stuff here by their DBs covering these big receivers from Mount Sac, as Antoine Anderson did fall over his own feet, or trip over his own feet, but there was a late flag, Chris. As they're going to call it a PI and give the Mounties a first down.
Well, that is about the latest flag I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was pretty late. So after it was all said and done, I think that's why Anderson was kind of clapping his hands, walking back to his teammates.
So instead of a 3-and-out for Mount Sac, they'll move the chains. They'll get it at their own 48 on a 1st and 10. 5:01 left to go opening quarter. Excuse me, not opening quarter, second quarter of action. It's my opening quarter since I got here late. Oregon took care of UCLA today at the Rose Bowl, 42-30. 1st and 10. Allo going to take a shot deep downfield. Has a man. This is going to be a Mountie touchdown. And who else but Christopher Gilchrist?
That was actually Antoine Anderson.
That was Anderson.
Who, after tripping over his own feet on the last play, comes up with a huge touchdown reception for the Mount Sac Mounties.
So Antoine Anderson, who got tripped up on that pass interference call a couple of plays ago, he catches it. It's a 52-yard touchdown reception, courtesy of Justin Allo, and the Mounties add on to that lead with 4:51 left to go here in the second quarter. Alberto Villarreal, who's 2 for 2 in PATs tonight, will come on to add the extra point. It is up and good, and it is 24-0. Mount Sac over Grossmont, just like we expected. A dominant performance so far for Mount Sac. We saw it in practice earlier this week. The Griffins will elect to return it, and across the 20 out to the 21 goes Christian Brooks, and that's where the Grossmont offense will take over, trailing by 24. You just look to get into Mountie territory, get something going.
This opportunity they've had so far to continue to move the chains was Carrillo rushing for a possible first down on, I believe, a 3rd and 18, but he was short, and they ended up punting the ball away.
They've only been into enemy territory once tonight. I formation here for Grossmont. The quarterback is Michael Carrillo, a 5'11", 180 freshman, and Carrillo going to take a shot deep downfield in the area of Aaron Simpson, the Mountie DB, who had a couple of interceptions last week. And for Grossmont, Carrillo that time was going for Chris LaChance, a 6'4" sophomore, finally a sophomore, out of La Jolla High School.
What? Sophomore?
It might be a typo.
That was good thing Carrillo floated that ball, Chris, because I was looking over on the coverage, and that was Aaron Simpson. Taekwon Glass was right in that neighborhood, too. If it was anywhere inbounds, I believe Glass would have been there for the pick.
High formation on the 2nd and 10 for Grossmont. Ball on their own 21. Handoff up the middle. McDonald pushed back after he gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10.
So the defense of the Mounties really taking charge here, is shutting them out so far in this game. Always led by the very active C.D. Tamavena, and it looks like his brother Sully is on the field right now, if I'm not mistaken.
That is Sully, who did not play the last couple of weeks due to an injury. We saw him practice this week. We weren't sure if he was going to be ready to go, but sure enough, he is out on the field for a 3rd and 11 here for Grossmont. 4 wide set. 2 receivers split out to each side. Under center, Carrillo going to take a shot down the middle of the field, and it's nearly intercepted. In the vicinity of that one was Cliven Stewart for the Mounties, but it falls to the turf incomplete. And what do you know? Another 3 and out for the Grossmont offense.
Well, it hasn't